Atim's life in the bustling village of Gulu was anything but ordinary. Born with albinism, her pale skin and sensitive eyes often made her the subject of whispers and stares. Despite the challenges, Atim found solace in her art. She would spend hours sketching the world around her, children playing, the lush greenery, the vibrant sunsets that painted the skies. Each stroke of her pencil was her way of escaping a reality that often felt unkind. Her sketchbook was her most prized possession, a vault of her innermost thoughts and emotions. It held not just sketches of the outside world but also her deepest fears and secret dreams. Some pages depicted a girl who looked like her, standing tall among faceless shadows. Others showed vivid bursts of color she had never seen in her everyday life, expressions of a world she wished existed. Only her cousin Ao, whom she trusted deeply, knew about the sketchbook. He had always seemed supportive, his laughter a source of comfort in her life. But even in his presence, Atim felt a nagging fear of betrayal. "Your art is beautiful," he often said, holding the book reverently. Yet, his words never fully soothed her unease. School was another battle. Atim's classmates mocked her appearance, calling her names that clung to her heart like thorns. "Ghost girl," they whispered, their tongues slicing through her like a blade. Despite her talent, she never dared to share her art in class. Even when her teacher praised her intelligence, the murmurs of the other students made her shrink into herself. One day, while working on a sketch during a quiet lunch break, a group of girls snatched her book. "What's this, Atim?" "A new ghost story," one sneered, flipping through the pages. Atim's face burned with shame as her heart raced. She lunged for the book, but the tallest girl held it above her head, cackling. The bell rang, and the teacher's approaching footsteps finally scattered the group, leaving Atim to retrieve her trampled sketches from the dirt. Her cousin Ao, who usually came to her defense, was nowhere to be seen. That night, she cried into her pillow, wondering if life would ever offer her more than ridicule. Atim's worst fears came true one sunny afternoon. She noticed whispers in class, followed by muffled laughter. A familiar ache settled in her chest, her palms growing clammy as her classmates pointed in her direction. Soon, she saw her sketches pinned to the classroom board, exposed for everyone to see. The intricate portraits, landscapes, and even private self-portraits were now objects of mockery. The cruel comments came faster than she could process them. "Is this supposed to be her? She actually made herself look pretty," someone jeered. Her heart sank when she recognized Ao's handwriting scrawled beneath one of the drawings, "*the ghost artist." The betrayal hit her like a storm. Ao had shared her secret with the very people who ridiculed her. That evening, Atim confronted him. "Why would you do this to me?" she demanded, tears streaming down her face. Ao avoided her gaze, muttering something about wanting her to lighten up. He shrugged, as if his betrayal were nothing more than a minor joke. "They'll forget about it soon," he said. But Atim knew she wouldn't forget, not for a long time. Crushed, Atim retreated into herself, vowing never to draw again. Weeks passed, and her once vibrant world became dull and grey. Each day felt heavier than the last. Her sketchbook, which had once been her refuge, now lay untouched beneath her bed. One day, a poster outside the school caught her eye: "National Art Competition, Express Your True Self." The winner would have their work displayed in Kampala's National Gallery and receive a scholarship. Atim dismissed the idea at first, thinking her art could never compete. The fear of ridicule loomed over her like a dark cloud. But her mother, noticing her daughter's gloom, urged her to try. "Art is your gift, Atim. Don't let anyone take that from you," she said gently, placing a hand on her shoulder. Her mother's voice trembled slightly, a mix of pride and pain. Those words sparked something within her, a small flame of courage. Determined to escape her village's negativity, Atim decided to enter the competition. Her first challenge was creating a theme. She wanted her work to reflect her pain and resilience but struggled to bring her ideas to life. The more she thought about the competition, the louder her doubts became. What if she wasn't good enough? What if the judges mocked her work the same way her classmates did? To clear her mind, she ventured into the forest near her home. The sound of birds chirping and leaves rustling calmed her nerves. The forest had always felt magical to her, a place untouched by human cruelty. She sketched a tree with roots extending deep into the earth, symbolizing strength. She added a figure standing beneath it, her arms outstretched as if drawing power from the earth itself. The design felt right, and for the first time in weeks, Atim smiled. One evening, Ao came to her with a somber expression. "I messed up," he admitted. "I thought it was harmless fun, but I see now how much I hurt you." Atim listened, her emotions torn between anger and forgiveness. Could she trust him again? Could she even trust herself to let him back in? She handed him her sketchbook, now filled with fresh designs for the competition. "If you want to make it right, help me prepare for this." Ao nodded, eager to regain her trust. Together, they spent hours refining her pieces, blending her ideas with his suggestions. He became her critic, pointing out areas where she could improve while praising her bold, emotional strokes. Slowly, the wall between them began to crack. The day of the local competition arrived, and Atim's hands trembled as she presented her work. The other contestants whispered and pointed, their judgments visible in their smirks. Yet, when the judges examined her pieces, their expressions softened. "This is remarkable," one judge said, lifting a portrait of a girl standing in the rain, her face turned upward in defiance. Atim advanced to the regional level, her confidence slowly rebuilding. As the competition progressed, Atim's work began to attract attention. Her unique style, blending realism with emotion, stood out. Journalists from a local paper interviewed her, and for the first time, she heard her name spoken with admiration instead of mockery. Atim's success was met with mixed reactions back home. Some classmates congratulated her, while others whispered behind her back. Despite this, she focused on her goal, using every comment, positive or negative, to fuel her determination. The national finals loomed, and Atim felt the pressure mounting. Ao reminded her to stay true to herself, but doubts crept in. She worried her work wasn't good enough for the prestigious judges in Kampala. One sleepless night, Atim revisited her earlier sketches, remembering why she started drawing in the first place. Each piece reflected a part of her journey, from heartbreak to healing. She decided to embrace her truth, imperfections and awe. In Kampala, Atim met Leila, another finalist. Leila was bold, confident, and unafraid to speak her mind. She noticed Atim's nervousness and offered encouragement. "Your art is powerful. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise," she said. The two became fast friends, sharing their struggles as artists. Leila, who was from a wealthy family, admired Atim's resilience, while Atim learned to believe in herself through Leila's unwavering support. The final round required contestants to create a piece on site within a day. Atim's heart raced as she faced the blank canvas. She chose to depict her life story, a girl surrounded by shadows, reaching for a glowing sun. Each brushstroke poured out her soul, capturing years of pain, love, and hope. When the time was up, Atim stepped back to admire her work. It wasn't perfect, but it was hers. The judges examined each piece, their faces inscrutable. Atim's nerves were frayed as they paused before her painting. "This piece is deeply moving," one judge remarked. Another nodded. "It tells a story that lingers in the heart." When the results were announced, Atim's name was called as the winner. Tears streamed down her face as the crowd applauded. For the first time, she felt seen, not as the ghost girl, but as an artist. Back in her village, Atim was greeted with a hero's welcome. Even those who had once mocked her now celebrated her success. Her victory inspired others to pursue their passions, regardless of the obstacles. Eo stood proudly beside her, knowing he had played a part in her journey. "I always believed in you," he said, and this time, Atim believed him. Atim's scholarship allowed her to study art in Kampala. She used her platform to advocate for people with albinism, spreading awareness about their struggles and beauty. Her paintings became a beacon of hope, showing others that differences could be strengths. Leila visited often, and the two worked on collaborative projects. Together, they held workshops in rural areas, teaching children to express themselves through art. Years later, Atim returned to Gulu to unveil her most ambitious work, a mural depicting unity and acceptance. The entire village gathered to watch her paint, the vibrant colors transforming the once dull walls into a masterpiece. As she added the finishing touches, Atim reflected on her journey. Pain had shaped her, but it didn't define her. She had turned her struggles into something beautiful, proving that even in darkness, light could shine.